Hello, I'm Tony from Bonner's Piano Centre, and this is my review and buyer's guide for the brand new Casio AP710 digital piano. You can come and try this piano in our stores. We have 3 different showrooms. One is in Eastbourne on the south coast, another one is in Reigate just off of junction 8 of the M25 motorway, and our new store is just off of the M1 motorway at Milton Keynes. So the AP710 shares features with the higher range Casio GP310 Grand Hybrid piano, and also some features from the lower range AP470. It sits right in the middle of Casio's range. If you check the links below this movie, you'll find the prices and also package deals that we offer on our website. So take a look at the links below. So in common with Casio's Grand Hybrid GP310 model, the new AP710 features 3 distinctive piano voices. You've got the sound of the Berlin Grande, the Vienna Grande and the Hamburg Grande. Anyone who knows anything about European piano builders will of course realise that those are actually cryptic names for Bechstein, Bosendorfer and Steinway. Something I like about the AP710 right from the outset is the cabinet design. As you can see, the panel is in the central position, whereas lots of digital pianos nowadays actually have their control panel on the far left. I actually like it in the middle because everything's to hand right in front of you when you're playing. The other thing I like about the AP710 is that this top lid here actually lifts up. It reveals this nice piece of red velvet underneath, which I think is a nice feature, but there are actually speakers underneath here as well, and by having this lid open, it directs the sound forwards towards the player as well. So just like Casio's Grand Hybrid models, the AP710 has the Bechstein badge on the front of it, and that's because Casio collaborated with Bechstein to create the first piano voice, and that's the sound of the Berlin Grande. So let's just take a listen to that first piano, and this is the sound that you get when you first switch the AP10 on. So as I've already said, there are 3 distinctive piano voices. We're going to take a listen to the second one now, and that's the Hamburg Grande, which of course is the sound of the Steinway piano. As you could hear, the Hamburg Grande is a brighter, more powerful piano sound. Now finally, we're going to take a listen to a big contrast here to the third piano voice, and that's the sound of the Vienna Grande, which of course is the Bosendorfer sound. Now this is a lot more mellow and delicate sounding, and it's a really beautiful sound for light classical music. So I think you'll agree the piano voices in the AP710 are really very good. Casio, until about 3 or 4 years ago, were only known for making entry-level instruments. That all changed a few years ago when they brought out their Grand Hybrid models, which feature really nice wooden keyboard actions and really stunning piano sounds. In fact, the same piano sound that you're hearing in the AP710. So what's different with the AP710 to the Grand Hybrid models is actually the keyboard action. That's the big difference. The GP310 and the GP510 Grand Hybrids have a long wooden key, very similar to the keyboard mechanism that you would find on a traditional grand piano, whereas the AP710 features a plastic key bed. It's a nice feel to the keys. They've got a slightly textured surface. They call it ebony and ivory feel, but it does mean that your fingers don't slip when they're playing. And this is actually the same key bed that you'll find on the lower range AP470. So like I said, it shares the keyboard with the AP470 and it's got the sound of the GP310 Grand Hybrid piano. All of those 3 different piano voices that you've already heard, they all have multiple variations. There are bright versions, there are mellow versions, there are pop versions. So basically there are lots of variations on each individual piano sound. But I'm going to draw your attention to some of the other voices that are built in now. And this is a sound of a string orchestra. Now you might on the face of it think, well, you know, the strings don't really need those in the piano. But just first of all, take a listen to them on their own. And then I'm going to show you the layer facility where you can layer the strings with the piano voice. So that was the sound of the string orchestra on its own. What I'm going to do now is press the layer button and I'm going to layer a piano voice and the string orchestra together. So every single key on the piano is actually playing 2 voices. And this just creates a nice, warm, rich tone for playing with. And it's very nice for romantic music or perhaps playing for film tunes, that kind of thing. But just have a listen to how nice and how engaging this type of sound is. Another favourite of my layered combination sounds is the sound of the acoustic piano mixed with the sound of a 1980s electronic piano sound. So if we layer these 2 together, this is a classic called a 1980s ballad sound, but it's a really beautiful sound. I'm really pleased to say that the AP710 features Casio's Hall Simulator function, and what that does is it adds an ambience to the sound. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to play a single staccato note on its own with the Hall Simulator switched off, and just have a listen to what we call the dry sound. And now I'm going to show you a few different variations of the hall simulator, ranging from a small room all the way up to a cathedral sound, and just listen to the beautiful ambience that you get on the piano sound when you use a cathedral hall simulator setting. And just to put that into context, I'm going to play a short piece using the piano voice and the French cathedral setting on the hall simulator, just to show you how it adds this beautiful ambience to the tone of your piano. So as well as being able to layer two sounds on top of each other, the AP710 also allows you to split the keyboard, so you can have one sound on your left hand and a completely different sound on your right hand. So in the next example, what I'm going to do is on my left hand is choose the sound of an acoustic bass, which also has a ride cymbal on every note as well. So you'll hear as I'm playing, every note has the bass voice and a cymbal on every note. But on the right hand, I'm going to have the sound of a piano. And this is great for that sort of jazz combo type experience. Have a listen to this. So you can split the keyboard wherever you want, and you can put any sound you want on the left or the right hand. So you could have perhaps strings on the left and piano on the right if you wanted to, but you can choose any sound you want and place it wherever you want on the keyboard. Another one of my favourite sounds in the AP710, particularly when you use the French cathedral setting in the hall simulator, is the sound of the pipe organ. So just take a listen to this one. So overall, the sound quality of the AP710 is excellent. One way of judging whether a digital piano is good in terms of key touch is that if you play very lightly, do the keys still respond? And I'm pleased to say that on the AP710 they do. So it's a very responsive keyboard action, and it's got a very, very nice set of piano voices in it as well. So from a musician's point of view, the AP710 is really a very nice instrument. Now let's have a look at some of the other features that the AP710 has to offer. And first of all, I want to show you the recording feature. I like to use this when you're learning a piece of music, so you can practice your left hand first, you can play that back and then practice your right hand over the top of the thing you've already recorded. So let's just give an example of that. And you'll see, first of all, I press record and I record my left hand. And now I'm going to play back that recording and practice my right hand part over the top of the recording. So the recording feature is very useful, particularly for people who are learning difficult passages of music and you want to practice both hands independently. Now, whilst we're on the subject of songs and song playback, the AP710 features Casio's concert play. And what that means is there are built-in, I think it's 16 tunes built in, and they're full orchestral backing, and if you just have a listen to them, you'll see they're real instruments, but you can play along with them. Now, they give you a music book with the piano, with all the music in for you to play along with, and you can either listen to the full arrangement with a pre-recorded piano being played, or you can mute the piano part and you can play it yourself. So let's just take a listen to one of the preset concert play tunes, and I'm going to play along with it with the piano voice. So just being able to play along with real musicians rather than synthetic sounds is a real joy to play. The pieces that are built in range from quite easy, like the one I was just playing there, to actually quite advanced, but it's a great deal of fun playing along with a real orchestra. So the last feature that I'd like to draw your attention to on the AP710 is the Duet function. Now, the Duet feature has been on digital pianos for about 10 years, all from various manufacturers. However, I feel Casio have really made it their own because it's so simple to access. Basically, there's one button press here for Duet, and there's another button for Duet Pan, and I'm going to explain what those two features do. So the standard Duet mode, what that does is it splits the keyboard in two. And if you imagine a teacher and a pupil scenario where you have a teacher sitting on the left-hand side and a pupil sitting on the right, then Duet splits the keyboard and it puts the same piano sound on both sides of the instrument, but they're both playing in the same registers. So to give you an example of that, I'm going to play something here. So now pretend I'm the pupil. I can come over here right up the top extreme of the keyboard where the pupil would sit, and it sounds the same as what my teacher has just played. If I turn the Duet feature off, now I do the same. Have a listen. It's very, very deep down in the bass and too high in the high register there. So the Duet function allows both teacher and pupil to experience the same sound when they're practicing the piece together. Now, if we press the Duet button again, we get Duet Pan. And what that does is very, very simple. It's the same, exactly the same feature, but what the teacher hears comes from the speakers on the left-hand side of the piano, and what the pupil hears is on the right-hand side of the piano. So a great little function, and particularly if you've got perhaps parent and child learning together, or a teacher comes to the home to teach you, then it's a really useful feature. And like I say, Casio have made it very, very easy to access. So that brings me to the end of my Casio AP710 demonstration video. I think it's just a really great back to basics digital piano. It's got a nice keyboard action. Control panel, as I said, is in a really logical place. Nice cabinet. I do like this lid that lifts up here. Decent sized music rest. You've got two headphone sockets on the front there, so again, two people can play the piano together, both plugged in with the headphone sockets. And it's nice that they're on the very front and they're not tucked up underneath and hidden out of the way. It's got a nice cabinet design. It has what we call a traditional front leg. You only tend to get that on the slightly higher priced digital pianos. So all in all, it's certainly a really worthwhile consideration if you're in the market for a mid-range digital piano, so something that's a cut above the entry-level models, but maybe not something that's in the price bracket of the hybrid models, then the AP710 should definitely be on your shopping list. And as I've said, come to one of our stores where you you can try this out and you can compare it with other brands of digital piano in all the same price bracket, all under one roof. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you again in another one of my piano demonstration movies.